Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. I, the pure consciousness, would manifest the words of truth and wisdom. I, the self-awareness, would manifest the words of truth and wisdom, and only truth. Blessings be on the listener, if as it's herself or himself, because they have cleared the fog and disown the unnecessary drama in their lives. So blessings to be on that listener. So as you can read the title and the caption, I'm sure you can, The Art of Living. Okay, so it's been a conversation, there has been a conversation in the past for last numerous days. Quite a few people have been asking me, mostly the people who know me in person, and they do not know, they also know me through social media and they follow my channel on YouTube, but they also know me in person, and they have inquired that can you give us some tools to live happily on the regular basis. The conversation was made live in person because time to time we have these conversations when we get around to it. And I also feel it's very important, as I have mentioned and said it numerous times in the previous messages and in the previous videos, that our well-being is our first priority, or our well-being should be our first priority. Excuse me. So, as we have mentioned it before, that our well-being must be our first priority. So today, I have time, or at least some time in my hands, to get around to this inquiry about which we had the conversations in the past. So we are just going to do that. So when we had this conversation in person, I gave them some tools as far as how to live happy on the regular basis, I mean in person. And then I decided to make a video and convey the message. So more and more people can take advantage of the words of truth and wisdom. So as you have noticed today, while I'm doing the video, I'm taking poses, and the poses are there for a reason, to show you basically that having patience and listening, what we do with that information afterwards, whether we try to make it our own experience or we discard that, it's entirely your business. And I am giving you also this advice for your personal use, that listening is important. You don't have to believe or you don't have to disbelieve. But listening is the top priority. Be open towards something is the tool number one for your well-being and to live happily on the regular basis. Be open. Because when we want to find out truth, and when we want to find out truth, and when we find out truth, then we make it our own living experience because it's friendly to us. And of course, we understand that it would benefit us. And the first step towards that, or doing so, is the listening and to open to it. If we are inquiring to find out something as truth, then we have to be totally impartial. If we already have made our mind, then we cannot get the truth, or we are not seeking the truth. All we are doing in that moment in time is trying to look for the confirmation about the belief we have in our mind. Then we are not seeking the truth. You see, you have inquired and you have asked me to give you the tools to be happy on the regular basis, and I am just doing that. Everything, every word which is coming out from my mouth is very significant, because for one, I am in a profound state of meditation still. That's number one. Number one is I am still in a profound state of meditation, and I have been for at least last 3 hours. And number two, when I am delivering you this message, this wisdom, the focus must remain intact, so you can understand and everyone can understand. So as I was saying, that the first step, and everything is interconnected and related to the inquiry you have made, the how to live happily on the regular basis. So we need to learn to listen and remain totally impartial. Meaning we have a mind frame there that we are just seeking the truth. And when we find out the truth may not be what we think it is. Truth may be different from what we think truth is. You see, and hence it is very significant and dire to remain open and to listen, and not to make up our mind, or not to make up any assumption, or not to presume anything, or not to make presumptions or assumptions, or whatever we want to call it. Not to do that, but just to remain open so we can find out what the truth is, and totally impartial. Because if we are partial towards a belief or towards a philosophy, then we cannot find out truth, and then we are not seeking the truth. Then what we are doing is we are looking for the confirmation to what we have already assumed or what we believe. We are just looking for the confirmation. So that's step number one. Number two, the how to live happily on the regular basis. The second thing is we cannot label an entire race, we cannot label entire nation, or we cannot label or stereotype a group of people or a bunch of people just because we had one bad experience from somebody. If you understand what I'm saying to you, it's very important that you need to remember this. It's important, which is, as I said, that we cannot label or we cannot cage it, the entire race or the entire nation or a group of people just because we had 1, 2, or 3 bad experiences. Please understand and know what we think reality is and what really reality is are two separate things. One can say, I am brown skinned. One can say, I come from India. One can say that I have, my ethnicity is South Asian, or I have been told that I am a male and I have a certain type of skin color. One can say all these things, any number of things. But truth is, this is not one is. The life, which is an energy running through this accumulation, is what one really is, and that is the truth. The segregations or the titles that I just mentioned to you can define or identify one, and hence these are just markers. But in reality, one is the life which is running through all this accumulation. That's the truth. So what one thinks is the truth and what is really the truth are two separate things. So hence it is not wise for one to think that this is what I am. This is not what I am, but this is what I have been told. And when I try to explore myself, which is what mystic is, or which is what mysticism does, that's what I practice personally. When I try to explore it through my own experience, I find all these labels and segregations basically are lies. These are the accumulations, identification, or a marker to function in a particular society, because it is subject to birth and it is subject to bodily demise. It was born and it would come to an end. However, what would carry on is the life running through the accumulation. It would always carry on. It has no end or it has no beginning. You see, it has no end and it has no beginning, and this is what in reality one is. So that is tool number 2 for to live happily on the regular basis. When we explore truth, truth is something else than what we think truth is, you see. And so it is also not very wise for us to stereotype or generalize an entire nation, an entire race, a group of people just because we had 1, 2, couple of bad or 3 bad experiences from the particular demographic. You see, we have to be very impartial, and we have to look at every individual through the eyes of truth, but not through the eyes of discrimination or through the eyes of segregation. We have to look at the life, but not what our eye is seeing. You see, the third eye is right here between two eyes. It means this eye sees the truth here, and this eye sees as the truth happening, but not what these two eyes are seeing. These two eyes are seeing a limited feature, an accumulation, basically, design, a color, a particular feature. These two eyes are limited as far as their sight or their capability of seeing. But the third eye, which is right in between two eyes, sees always the truth. So we cannot generalize that. We have to see every individual as the individual is happening through the third eye, basically, so we can see the truth. We were having this conversation, of course. Folks have been following me, and in my last message or the last video, as I said, I set myself as an example to demonstrate or to make a point that I cannot stop the expression of my life just because somebody is getting passive aggressive or being resentful towards me. I cannot stop that. And usually when I feel or when I observe or experience that kind of passive resentment towards me, it does not happen very often, however. That is a good news. Personally, what I believe, most people, no matter, regardless of their gender, regardless of their color or psychological drama even, most people try to do the right thing. You see, most people at least. And that's something that I appreciate, no matter what the motivation is, but they are trying to do the right thing, and for that I am extremely grateful. At least they are trying, you see. That's what I personally believe. So it's a great thing. However, every now and then, when I mentioned in the last message that I experience that kind of passive aggressiveness, and I go through with that every now and then, unfortunately, by a very small number of people. And I also mentioned in the same message, they happen to be, mind you, how I am phrasing my words, they happen to be, for the most part, the religious people. So when I was having this conversation with a beautiful person, and in person I was having this conversation, they have been following me on YouTube, and so they said that, is it something that has it something to do with the religion, or how do you perceive it? So what I perceive basically is, just because sometimes it happens, it does not mean that every religious person is that way. You see, I'm trying to make a point here. So as I said, I want your focus intact, because it's very significant what I'm saying towards your well-being and to live happily. I am saying in a nutshell that we cannot generalize everyone just because every now and then an unpleasant experience happens to me or towards me, you see. So as I said, that they happen to be religious, but it does not mean that every person who is following a particular religion is that way. It's not fair is not right and is not the truth. So the second point is we have to look at every individual as the individual is happening, but not just because we had a couple of bad experience. We had in the past a couple of bad experiences from somebody. We cannot generalize that, otherwise we cannot see the truth. It is what we understand, that it is a huge barrier towards our growth, you see. And when I'm saying growth, I don't mean growth in terms of the three-dimensional reality. I don't mean growth in terms of money, or growth in terms of family, or growth in terms of friend, or growth in terms of education, or growth in terms of social circle. I don't mean any of that. When I say growth, it means the ultimate growth. It means the ultimate truth, and it means the ultimate growth. And the ultimate truth and the ultimate growth is what we essentially are. What we essentially are, we are trying to grow. In other words, we are trying to shed our karma. And that can only happen when we see truth through the third eye, which is the eye for the truth. That we cannot label or generalize. It creates a lot of chaos in human awareness. It creates a lot of friction in human consciousness, or just consciousness, because there is no barrier or barricade in consciousness. Consciousness itself manifesting in different form or shapes. So you understand the point? We cannot do that. Even though we had a couple of bad experiences in the past, we still have to be totally impartial and not to see the upcoming person in the light of those bad experiences. So we have to remain totally open and totally impartial and experience a new person as a new person. You see? So it does not mean that it has anything to do with a particular religion, or it does not mean that all the people who follow a particular religion are that way. No, it does not mean that, absolutely. We cannot judge or cage or title an individual based on our previous or bad experiences from somebody. We have to look a new individual or an individual through the eyes of truth. And we cannot cage or judge through those bad experiences. So this is the tool number 2, that we have to remain totally impartial. However, we have learned lies. We have learned to cage people based on our experiences or the bad experiences. We have learned these lies, and these lies are very compelling. Since it's a very strong conditioning, these lies compel us to believe, and these lies tell us I am the truth, but it's not the truth. When we see a new individual through the eyes of truth, but not based on the previous bad experiences, then and only then we can see the beauty and we can find the truth. Please know that. I will give you a recent example. So what happened is yesterday that when I was leaving for work, the gentleman who came to pick me up, it was a cab service I called because I had to arrive at work early. Excuse me. And the gentleman who came to pick me up, he was a religious person, and I am telling you from the bottom of my heart that his energy was unbelievable. A very kind and compassionate person, also a spiritual and a beautiful human being, that gentleman. He gave me or engaged me in a very beautiful conversation and admired me, and vice versa, of course. And in the end, held my hand and we prayed together. And I can assure you that my day, not only because of the dedication towards yoga and meditation and to my practice, but also because of the power of the prayer that we actually did together, that gentleman, my day was absolutely beautiful. Even though I felt really, really tired, and what the word we say in Britain, I felt totally shattered or knackered, but still I carried a lot of energy, because we transferred our energy when he held my hand and we prayed together. You see? So the reason I gave you this example, that I wanted to demonstrate the point that I just told you, that had I be oblivious and blind and labeled all the people the same just because every now and then, sadly, some ignorant person exhibits the sign of ignorance towards me, then I would never be able to see the beauty and the love which this person emitted immediately. I mean, it resonated through me, his beauty and his energy. A beautiful person, because I had the nerves to see this individual, a new individual, through the eyes of the truth, which is the third eye right here. And all I saw, the love and the beauty coming out of this person. So this is the second tool. What I'm doing here, basically, by having this conversation, I'm giving you the tool to less the friction in your awareness. The less friction there is in your awareness, the more happy you are on the regular basis. You see, that's the tool number 2, which is a very significant and important tool. Now, excuse me, we are going to move on tool number 3. So remember, excuse me, so remember one thing, which is no word in reality or in truth has any meanings. This is the tool number 3 I'm giving you to live happily on the regular basis. Remember, I'm repeating myself, that no word in reality or truth has any meanings. I have mentioned this a couple of times in the previous messages and retreat, and I am mentioning it again, because these are the things in this present age that we need to remind ourselves about. Please remember and know that. So, as I was saying, that no word in reality has any meanings. Yesterday, or the day before, maybe a couple of days back, I was with a friend of mine, and this person is a very nice, very compassionate person, but this person happened to be a little more sensitive than an average person. So this person told me that she was told by someone something which she felt it was a little harsh on her, and she actually confided in me because she believes that when I am around, this person feels really happy because maybe of my energy. However, of course, this video is not to brag about anything. That's not the point of the video. I'm mentioning it for a reason. So she confided in me, and of course that this person is a very kind and compassionate person, so she perceives me as a good vibe and good energy. So she told me that it is keeping her restless, like she didn't like that she was told by somebody something in a harsh way. So if we go a little further and a little focus, we realize that it's just the words that keeping her restless. She was told by someone through words, of course. Are you following me? Do you understand what I'm saying to you? Do you see this? Somebody says it's not sometimes that what they said, it is how they said it. Yes, it may be a little true, but for the most part, it's our responsibility that how we perceive it. If we do not give it the power is coming from us. You see, no matter how they are saying or what they are saying, we cannot get a reaction from what they are saying and how they are saying it unless we believe that what's being said or how they said it, it's true. But on the ultimate reality and on the ultimate truth is not true. It comes from us. So if we believe in it, it works against us. Are you understanding what I'm saying? I'm giving you the pure and true wisdom, pure wisdom here, pure awareness and pure wisdom. I want you to please understand and remember all this. It's very important for your happiness. If we believe that it's our power, it's the power of our awareness, it's the power of our attention and focus that these things become real. Otherwise they themselves has no meanings, or they are not real. They don't have any existence of their own. So so she was a little disappointed and sad because she was told something, and I told to my friend, I said, look, no word in reality has any meanings, if you understand what I'm saying. No word in reality has any meanings. If we agree, word itself has no existence of its own. It becomes alive because we agree to the meaning of the word. Otherwise, word itself is not defining the truth. Word is a marker. So I told her, I want you to look everything that way, so you would have transparency. You see, you would have transparency to see the truth. You would see more clearly each time. For instance, I'll give you an example. That you go ahead and you go to a river, and there is a river and it's silent, the morning time, nobody's around, and you are standing and enjoying the nature, and you are standing at the river bank and you are looking at the river, you see, and you are looking at the river, you are thinking, this is a beautiful river. You see, this is a beautiful river and I'm standing on the river bank. Now, please remember something, that what you are thinking are the words. Words are the thoughts, of course, and you are thinking the words, but you are not perceiving it as reality or as how the phenomena is happening. Do you understand what the word phenomena means? Anyway, I'm sure all my friends here and my loved ones, they have a good comprehension of English. What I'm saying is the word phenomena, an acceptable definition of the word phenomena is something which is happening and it cannot be justified through a rational or thinking process or mind. You see, that is the definition of the word phenomena. Something which is, people use the word, but sometimes they don't realize the meanings of it. So the meaning of the word phenomena is something which cannot be which is happening but cannot be justified through a rational or through a thinking process or thinking mind. So what you are seeing, and you are admiring the beautiful river, and you are standing on the river bank, and you are thinking this is a beautiful river, but it's a phenomena. It's not a river, it's a phenomena. You don't know what it is. It's just a phenomena which is happening in nature for you to admire, and it would make you happy in return, you see. But believing what you are thinking, that this is the river, that's not the truth. That's not the ultimate truth. And remember something, as I have mentioned it numerous times, that here we are just talking about the ultimate truth, the ultimate reality, and the ultimate growth. You see what I'm saying? So we just talk about the ultimate truth, reality, and ultimate growth. So the phenomena is happening, and you are thinking it's a river, but it's not a river, it's just a phenomena which is happening. And believing it's really, in reality, it's a river would deviate you. You see the word deviate? It would deviate you from the truth. And it's, unfortunately, is detrimental in our spiritual growth. So we can use the words in order to function in the society, or the identifications or the markers, but believing it's indicating to any type of truth is not true. We have to have that awareness. So this is your third tool to be happy on the regular basis. I hope you are wrapping these tools on your finger, and you would remember these tools, or you would probably watch this video over and over, or maybe every day in the morning after the meditation, to give yourself a reminder that these are the tools towards my own well-being and towards my own happiness on the regular basis. So I told her, my friend, I told her that. I said no words in reality has any meaning. So do not agree. If it is something which is keeping you restless or sad, then you don't have to agree towards the meanings of it. And it would have no effect on you, because the power is coming from you. If you agree towards the meanings of it, these words would use themselves against you, and it would keep you sad and restless. You understand what I'm saying? We have taken this Jivan or carnation to dissolve our karma. It's a very precious time, so it's important to keep the awareness so we can shed our karma consciously. If I would understand your argument while you are standing on the riverbank silent and there is nobody around, and you say out loud to the river, "Hey river, do you know that you are a river?" I would understand your argument if it answered you back, "Yes, I know I am a river. I would understand your argument that okay, river knows it's a river, so here we go. The words have meaning. But you would not get any answer. Everything is silent. You are enjoying the flowing river in the nature and the beauty, and you are saying out loud, river, do you know you are a river? You see, river does not know it's a river. You have made a word, and every single one of us has agreed to the meanings of the word that will call it a river. It's a marker. River is a phenomena which is happening in nature and does not understand it's a river. And the same goes towards everything, including yourself and including myself. Because remember, real you and real me are exactly the same. So no word has any meanings in reality. We create words and we agree to the meanings. As I have mentioned, my mentor Don Miguel Ruiz, please get the book Four Agreements, and he explains and elaborates in detail, basically, in the book, that how words are created and how we give birth to the words, and then we agree to the meanings of the word, and it becomes alive. So I told this to my friend that please do not give it any meaning, because no word in reality has any meanings. So if somebody said something nasty to you, if somebody said something provocative or trying to get a reaction from you, that would only happen if you agree to the meanings of the words. Otherwise, it has no meanings. And you know what happened? After a very small period of time, after a very short period of time, my friend told me that they are feeling very light and very calm, because now they have the awareness and they totally and fully understand what I have said to them. You see, that's the beauty of the truth, and that's the beauty of the wisdom. Om. Om.